Shalom, Shalom, and welcome. This is Turning Points. My name is Symmanayah. Let's get started. My brothers and sisters, do you want to trust in what the masses have been promoting for centuries? Do you want to trust because the majority of people believe that it is true? Or do you want to seek to discern what is indeed set apart? What is indeed the orders, the instructions of the Most High Father? You see, my brothers and sisters, end times are here. Intense times will come. And many of us who have embraced and believed and look forward in our lifetime to witness the final exodus, the gathering of Yasharal from the four corners of the earth. While many of us believe that, there are details required. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, I have spoken often that there will be unity. We will be refined. We will come to understand Hebrews 12th chapter when he talks about the Most High discipline his children, refining us, for unity will come. But what many people don't realize, my brothers and sisters, in order for there to be unity, there are some critical things that are a priority and a must for the gathering of Yasharal as one awakened and unified nation. This segment of Turning Points is about knowing when a day begins and ends. Knowing when a day begins and when it ends. Believe it or not, my brothers and sisters, this is a unity qualifier. In other words, if we do not agree when a day begins and ends, it would be most difficult for Yasharal to march together in unity for the final exodus. So it is a qualifier, meaning that we must, and those who will participate in the final exodus, agree when a day begins and ends. Also, as I mentioned, Hebrews 12th chapter, where the Most High said he would discipline and refine his children. Those who will fulfill the final exodus, at the very least, will represent when a day begins and end. It is a qualifier. Know and never forget, my brothers and sisters. Consider this, and I'm not going to read this passage of scripture because what my focus mainly on is when a day begins to end, the importance of knowing that. But Numbers 16th chapter, verses 21 through 33, it talks about a time when there were a group of individuals, Hebrews, who fought and rebelled, or should I say disagreed with Moses and Aaron's leadership. And they wanted to prove that it was indeed Moses being used by the Almighty Father. And so what happened in Numbers 16th chapter, verses 21 to 33 is, it was a time where there was a separation, where Moses separated himself from those who believed he should not be leading. And he asked them to step aside. And those who believed that he was being used by the Most High to be on his side, and those who were not on the other side. And this resulted in the ground, the earth opening up and swallowing those who did not believe that Moses was the chosen leader and that Yahuah was using him. My brothers and sisters, the Most High never changed. And just as we saw in days of old, when end times come, when it comes to the movement of Yasharal, or an awakening nation, when it comes to being gathered from the four corners of the earth, be careful of the side that you take, because you may very well, any of us could very well find ourselves on the side where possibly the earth opening up and swallowing us. I am not trying to present fear, but I am definitely trying to, unwarranted fear. But fear Yahuah. Yes, fear Yahuah. It is the beginning of knowledge. As it is written in Proverbs, fools despise discipline, but fear Yahuah. My brothers and sisters, know when a day begin or end. Let me read to you Matthew 24:20. I want to read. Here the Mashiach, Yahusha, is being quoted as talking about the end times. And one of the verses that is said is quoting him as saying, and pray that your flight does not take place in winter or on the Shabbat. Or on Shabbat. So my brothers and sisters, if we can't agree when the day begins or ends, some of us may be in motion on Shabbat, and some of us may not. Some of us may miss that mark. Notice he say, pray that it does not happen in winter or on Shabbat. You see, my brothers and sisters, there's a reason for that warning. We will, and those who will fulfill the gathering from the four corners of the earth will grow to recognize and acknowledge this qualifier, this unity qualifier, which is knowing when the day begins or ends. Let me take you to Revelations chapter 1, verse 8. Revelation chapter 1, verse 8. It says, I am the Aleph and the Tah, beginning and end, says Yahuwah, who is, who was, and who is to come, the Almighty. You see, my brothers and sisters, many people, when they read the scriptures when the day begins or ends, they go to Genesis, one of the first passages they go to when it talks about there was evening, there was morning, there came to be a day. They fail to realize that in the beginning of that chapter, it is Yahuwah that is making things. It is Yahuwah who is placing the sun, the stars, the sun, the moon, the stars. It is Yahuwah who created all that is of the earth. And Yahuwah is light. So if he's the Aleph and the Tah, it begins with light. Then there was darkness. Then there was light again. You see, my brothers and sisters, there is spiritual light and physical light, but it begins with him. And all too often, many people miss that mark. It is erroneous to believe that a day begins at darkness. The Most High have never wanted us to embrace the darkness, run towards the darkness, envelop the darkness. We are children of the light, for he is light. My brothers and sisters, I will not debate you, but I will say this. Those who are being drawn by him will grow to know that a day begins and ends with each morning. With each morning. And I would say to you, regardless of what the massive teachings are, regardless of what numerous people have said, we will grow to know that it is important to recognize when a day begins. Revelations 22:13 reads, I am the Aleph and the Tah, the beginning, the end, the first and the last. You see, my brothers and sisters, keep in mind, it began with him and it will end with him. There's one other verse that I want to bring that I do not have posted here. I want to bring to your attention, my brothers and sisters. And that's in Revelations. Revelation 22:5 says, and night shall be no more, and they shall have no need of a lamp or the light of the sun, because Yahuwah, the Almighty One, shall give them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. You see, my brothers and sisters, he is the light. And we will grow to know that. This is a time, my brothers and sisters, if you have taken a position of belief, this is a time to ask yourself, would you stake your life on it? Are you willing to be in a place that you believe is a place of safety? Are you willing to be in motion at a time you shouldn't? Are you willing to be still when you should be moving? There's a reason and there's a purpose. These warnings were given. This warning was given in Matthew 24:20. I will speak on this more as I have in times past. I will speak in the future. For as Yasharal began to come together in unity, those that are drawn for this final Exodus, we will agree when the day begins or ends. And we will know without a doubt. And if you cannot unequivocally say that you would stake your life on it, pray earnestly, my brothers. Pray earnestly to discern that we are indeed children of the light. We are indeed individuals that will come to recognize that a day begins from morning to morning. If you find yourself not being able to comprehend and understand these, ask questions. If you care to discuss this, I welcome that discussion. There's no need to argue or debate. If you're adamant and you would stake your life on it, follow what you believe to be true. And just remember, as end times get intense, it will be the obedient that will be the ones drawn to safety, my brothers and sisters. Be encouraged and trust that the Almighty Father knows our intents. He knows our minds. He knows the very intentions of everyone. He also has a plan, and he's made a promise to his children, to the world. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, you have been listening to Turning Points. My name is Symmanayah. Continue to be encouraged. Correction comes. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.